Water is simple. Hydration is simple. Talking to North America, Australia, New Zealand, England, Europe, we have great drinking water. Let's take advantage of it.
Small habits, big changes. Let's dive in.
I'm so excited that you came. My name is Marcell Hanson, and this is Small Habits, Big Changes. I haven't spoken to you about my stable table, and so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the four main pillars of the stable table, but starting off with the simplest, the one that impacts people's lives the most, the one that if I'm having a stressful day or things are not going to plan, this is the one I reach towards because it's the easiest. We in North America anyway have great access to good drinking water. And there's really no excuse to not be hydrated, though it does take a little bit to get into a system. And that's what I'm here. I want to share with you my system to see if some of that may apply to you and that you can take it, run with it, and create a wellness routine full of healthy habits of your own. So today's the day we talk about hydration. Cheers. If you're near a sink right now, it's awesome to go over and just fill up the cup right now because it is something that you can change in seconds. The other wellness pillars we talk about are daily exercise and nutritious meals and quality sleep. Some of those require a little bit more forethought. They require some planning. Obviously, nutritious meals, we talk a lot about meal prep. Quality sleep, we talk about, having a good quality bed, the environment around you, the things you do 3-4 hours before you go to bed, etc. Water is simple. Hydration is simple. Talking to North America, Australia, New Zealand, England, Europe, we have great drinking water. Let's take advantage of it. Today, we'll go through just a couple quick tips. One, if you've already gone and gotten a glass, awesome, because you've taken care of step one, which is starting, committing to yourself that you'll do this. Finally, this will be the year that everything changes, and hydration, honest to God, could be the first domino that falls in your wellness journey. It was an early one for me, I will say. But before I go off on a tangent here, we are going to talk about how to get started, how to maintain hydration day after day, because obviously it can get a little repetitious, but I think repetition is the mother of all learning. Is that what they say? I think that might be accurate. So we'll stick with that. And then also how you can take this from being an everyday thing to an every month, every year for the rest of your life thing. Okay. And so we'll talk about how to get you started, how to keep you going, and how to make it lifelong. But as I was starting to mention, is hydration for me, honestly, started really early because I played sports. So growing up, it was very common to have sugary yellow drink. I won't say their name, handy at the sports match, at my tennis match, during basketball. Yes, we drank water, but it was often pushed these sugary drinks. Even though I wasn't doing a good job at hydrating and I wasn't taking in quality ingredients, I had the concept down. There was never really a structure around, I never really witnessed anyone else drinking water, I guess is the easiest way to say it, except for me and those sugary drinks that we drank while playing sports. And I played sports year round. So for me, hydration was always something, I think it's just, it lends itself, it creates, why can't I find the word for this? It really is available to athletes. And I love talking to you about this because you and I haven't shared this before. So hydration is to the human body like Wow, like hydration is to a car. I'd like to share a little bit of an embarrassing story, but one that I hope gives you a visual of how important it is to stay hydrated. Now, my dad, entrepreneur, he ran his own machine shop, later a body shop. But when I was growing up, everything pretty much revolved around trucks, cars, machinery, heavy equipment, or sports. That was kind of my life. So when I was a teenager, I didn't have a car at the time. Actually, I just moved up to Seattle. I was going to school and I had borrowed a car. I was walking a lot and riding my bike because living on Capitol Hill was pretty much easy to get around. But I needed a car for some reason. And I asked my dad if I could borrow the family car, which at the time I lovingly called the Batmobile, because it was a 1978 Dodge Magnum. It was low to the ground, had a low center of gravity, and it really cornered like it was on rails. So it's just a gorgeous car. And I think Batman probably was big growing up in my lexicon. And so that just I associated it with this Batmobile. Well, I borrowed the Batmobile and I was driving around town. I was borrowing it for a couple of weeks. So I'd drive it around, park it outside my apartment, go to school, go to work, drive it around. And one day I was out driving. I think I had taken it up to the mall, or it was up on a freeway. And I noticed that it was kind of clugging around a little, and a little bit of smoke or steam or something was coming out of the hood. I was like, oh, here we go. I ended up blowing up that car, actually. I blew the head gasket on it. And anyone who knows anything about a head gasket just shook their head, because it's painful. It's expensive and it's painful. Called my dad and said, the car stopped working. Oh, my dad, so patient. What the hell? He ends up coming up with his tow trailer. The short of this painful, long story is that I completely ran this car out of every liquid in its system. I don't think it had any coolant in the radiator. I don't think it had any oil in it. It never had windshield wiper fluid. I literally just ran it dry. And after several weeks of that, it literally blew up. It literally cracked its head gasket. It would not run. It came to a dead stop. And if my dad wasn't a mechanic, it probably just would have made its way to the junkyard. But I tell that because it's very likened to how we run our bodies. Many people, anyway, is that we go without water, without leafy green vegetables, without hydration day after day. We might be consuming coffee or green teas or even caffeinated teas, beer, liquor. These things don't really count when it comes to hydration, as far as I'm concerned. People that consume those think that because they're quenching their thirst to a certain degree, that they're hydrating. And that's not actually the case. Now, the body's very resilient. It will do all that it can to extract liquid and moisture from foods, from the environment, from obviously any drinks, but it can only do so much. Now, our bodies are made of 60, 70% water, so it makes sense that everything within us is at the best operating state, homeostasis, everything, when it's hydrated. So when weeks and months and even years go by, some of the people I've worked with over the years, they haven't drank water they can't even remember when. So there's really no great reason for this, except maybe you just don't have the skills. Maybe you just don't have any hacks. Maybe you haven't built the habits. And I'm here to tell you that it's really simple to get this one going. Is pop over to the sink right now if you don't have a glass of water already and grab one. Legitimately. It'll take like 10 seconds. I'll wait. Go ahead. Take a gulp of my own water. You back? You got one? Good. See, we're on our way. So you've started the habit. If you have water with you right now, you are well on your way. What I find is that you need two other things to really make this part of a rich ritual. Okay. Rich ritual. The first thing after starting that you need is a hook habit, something that almost subconsciously allows you to take in more water without you having to think about it each and every time. Now, hook habit, some people have called it a stack habit or habit stacking. I've called it a hook habit for like 20 years. I heard it from someone else. I don't know who it was, but it stuck with me. Literally what we're doing is taking a habit that we already have, something we do each and every day consistently, and we're taking this new habit that we want to instill, we want to have each and every day to better our wellness, and we're going to hook the new one to the old. An example might be one that I use, really simple, is I always have a full glass of water, or one that I'm currently consuming, on the counter in my place. So when I get up and walk past, which I basically to go from the front door or my bedroom to anywhere, the kitchen, the living room, the studio, bathroom, additional rooms, I have to walk by this counter. Every time I do, my mind clues in and sees that. I think in order to drink water, you have to see water. My own personal take on it. I pick it up, I take a slurp. I currently, great hack, I use a big straw. It helps me to take it in quicker. That's just a personal habit. Sometimes I'll go months and months and not drink out of a straw, years in fact. Sometimes I'll drink out of a, like an Nalgene bottle, travel jug. When I'm home, I'm drinking out of a 16-ounce tumbler, like a beer tumbler, and like a tall one, like a draft glass rather. And that's how I remember to drink, is that it's always in my line of vision. You can create your own hook habit however you want, whether it's by the front door, because that's where you're going to go out first, because you got to let the dog out to wee, whether it's on your kitchen counter like mine, whether it's on your bathroom counter, because that's where you go in and you're going to get ready in the morning, take a shower, what have you. You can have it right there. Anywhere in the vicinity that you're walking by that you really can't miss it, try that. And you know what? If you find a place that works, keep it. If you find that it's not working, change it. Sometimes you got to write a Post-it note to get your attention to start creating an additional habit to draw your attention to it. But the idea is that you're taking something that you already have and you're adding something that you want to make it a lot easier. So you're not recreating the wheel. I'm not creating a new pathway from my bedroom to the bathroom in the morning. I pretty much have to walk by the kitchen. So walking by the kitchen and having that glass right on the edge of the counter, not on the very edge because I have cats, but near the edge has always worked for me. The third thing, and probably the most important step, to be honest, after you've started, you've got your hook habit, so you're starting to practice, you want to track your intake. This is essential. In sports is where I picked it up on. Obviously, people love sports, statistics outside of research in general. Finding a statistic in sports, come on. The NFL is notorious for finding some absurd stats. First quarterback to ever throw a 7-yard pass in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter whilst being left-handed. There's just wacky stuff that they come up with. And some of that's really entertaining. For us, it's going to be completely functional. Okay. We want to track that we are taking in half our body weight in ounces every day. Ignore 8 glasses. I don't know how that ever came to be. It's the silliest thing ever. My brother is 6'2" and weighs 260 pounds, and I happen to be 6 foot, so I'm not that much shorter, but I only weigh 140. We're not going to drink the same amount of water to become hydrated. It's just highly unlikely. So we don't go with 8 glasses. It may fall to be your specific quantity to be 8 glasses, but that's not what we go off. Half your body weight in ounces. That is the best formula for you to take in water each and every day. Now, of course, like everything I ever share, whether it's about hydration, exercise, nutritious meals, or quality sleep, if you have any questions about how this may impact your body, talk to your naturopath, talk to your acupuncturist, whoever your main doctor is, and get insight. You certainly can hire a trainer, and a lot of them have specialized training in these categories. However, if you're on any medication, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, if you're very active, like you're training for a marathon, or you are sweating profusely, if you're in menopause, if you have little kids running around, you may have a different requirement. You may require a little bit more water because you're burning up the liquids within yourself on a daily basis. So you want to take that into account. I have found over thousands and thousands and thousands of people that the majority of people are very successful with the formula of half your body weight in ounces. The example of that, quick math, would be I weigh 140. I'm going to divide that by 2 or cut it in half, which makes 70. And that's how many ounces, 70 pounds, is half of what I weigh. What I weigh in pounds, cut it in half, 70. That's how many ounces I should be drinking every day. Now, I drink a little bit more because I'm pretty active. I tend to keep, especially in the wintertime, I keep the house a little warmer. So I am burning up my yin, if you will. I'm using it up, so I want to replenish it. Now, we can get into a little bit of the weeds by talking about if you're drinking other things that could hydrate you, if you're eating foods that could hydrate you, those are good. You're going to find out for yourself exactly kind of where your sweet spot is. Everyone is a little different. I say to start with half your body weight in pounds, converted to ounces. That's how many you're going to drink every day. However, it will always be specific to you. You're like a special snowflake. No two are the same because of lots of environmental factors and some interactions with other foods and drugs and what have you. So you really want to know what's right for you, but you kind of feel a little overwhelmed. This is the simple part. Track. Tracking will give you the information that you need to where you can make adjustments. You can tweak these methods, add some water, decrease some water according to what works best for you. I will say in closing, there's a few tips. I like to consume almost all my water between like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. I don't drink with my meals. I like to keep a cushion of about a half hour before and after a meal, let my digestive enzymes do their job without any diluting. I also like to drink room temperature. I drink out of a very elite holistic medical device that provides me with live water. Very different than tap water. However, start where you're at. I've been on this journey for we won't count my youth, almost 30 years. So I've honed these habits and built what works for me. I'm sharing so hopefully you can apply some of those things and they can work for you. The kicker is tweaking is where the magic's at. You will make everything fit your life and how it works for you by doing these simple things, which are getting started, adding in that hook habit, and most importantly, tracking. I want to touch on tracking before I let you go because tracking can be done so many different ways. And this is really where people, in my experience, they drop the ball. So for me, I track with little like Post-its. Those, like if you're signing a contract to go to buy a house or something and someone sends you over a paper copy before DocuSign, and they have these little red or yellow stickies with an arrow on them. That's exactly what I use. It's exactly what I use. I have 5 of them, 6 of them posted, stuck onto my cupboard door in the kitchen, basically where I fill up my water. and I slide them over from one side to the other, depending on whether I've just drank it. And every day I start over. If I've completed all 6 glasses like I'm supposed to, then all 6 of them will be on one side, and I just start the next day moving them back to the other side. I have also used a little tracker that you find like on the side of an air hockey or a foosball table. It's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've used one of those. I disassembled a table and I used one of those for a while. You can use simply a gold star or a check mark on 30-day calendar that you have nearby, somewhere that you can access regularly. I recently came up with a rubber band method that a lot of people seem to like, and that is, for example, I drink 5 to 6 glasses, 16 ounces, right? I'm drinking what somebody would weigh maybe 150, 160. I'm drinking more in the 80 to 90 ounces. That equates 5 to 6 glasses of the size glass that I drink out of. If I were using the rubber band method, I'd take 5 rubber bands and put them on the glass to start with. Every time I drank the glass, I'd take one off. At the end of the day, 6 o'clock rolls around, I would be rubber bandless. Or we can do it the reverse. Start your day, you put 1 rubber band on your glass. When you fill the next one up, you put 2, you put a second one, and you keep basically 5 handy, right? You could put them on the glass and just roll them up to the top. I mean, there's so many, there's about 1 million different ways you can track this, but having a way that fits just you is what's going to make the difference in whether you stick with this or you don't. Doing my habits may get you started, but unless you live a life very similar to mine, eventually there will be breakdown. I really want to provide you guys with as much practical, applicable tactics that you can implement immediately to get going on your journey, because it is a journey. You have to start where you are and be patient with yourself. Gradients, baby steps. I started this almost 30 years ago. My point is, take what works for you and leave the rest. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take what works for you, track it so you can tweak it, and then you can keep it. So if you gained any information at all, any tips, anything you think you might apply to your life, please share it with a friend. Come back again. Hit the notifications so you can follow up. We're going to have our next episode's going to be on daily exercise, and then we'll hit nutritious meals. We'll wrap up my stable table with quality sleep, and then we'll have some guests on, and we'll be finding out a little bit more about how some other successful people have developed their own healthy habits and how we can share amongst ourselves to just create more wellness. If you haven't already signed up for our free texting community, please do. Give you the number here. You can text the word yes to 206-483-2960. Again, that's 206-483-2960. Completely free. Send us a question there. I'm happy to reply. You can send photos of what you got going on, whether you have a specific bottle that you like to drink out of. I'm always looking for good products. Happy to share that, as well as any good hook habits or tracking mechanisms that you've used. Hit me up. We'll share on a future episode. I hope that this has brought you value. And again, please share with your friends, and I'll continue to give you my hacks and my healthy habits that I practice to maintain my stable table. And stay awesome.